So we're coming down to our mat if you're not already there. And we'll lay flat on our back to begin. So go ahead and just lay flat down all the way on your back. And we'll begin in that Shavasana position. Spending the first couple minutes of our practice just getting comfortable. Sometimes this is the most difficult part of our practice. So if you've been doing yoga with me for a really long time, maybe this is something that's become easier. If you're still finding it difficult, or if you're new to yoga, give yourself a little bit of a break. Don't be too hard on yourself. If you find you're fidgeting, or your mind is racing, or you can't stop thinking about other things, that's okay. Just as often as you're able to, I want you to try to think about right here, right now, laying on the mat, breathing in and out. Try to slow your breathing. And if you're like me, it is congestion season, so if you're feeling a little congested, it's hard to breathe through your nose, that's okay to breathe through your mouth. Just try to relax your face. And just let the body start to melt into the ground. Relax those muscles. Trying to fidget less and less. Now with our next big breath in, let's reach those arms all the way up above our head. Oh, nice big stretch. Imagine yourself just waking up in the morning. Stretch those arms out long. And then we'll release those arms down. Bring our legs into our chest. Make a big hug. We'll gather those legs into the chest. And just start to roll through your ankles. Any cricks and cracks. And then we can rock side to side. Notice anything going on in our back and our legs and our hips. And we'll come into that single leg stretch, keeping a hold of our right knee. Let's lower our left leg all the way down to the floor. And then try to open that knee out a little bit wider towards that right shoulder. Keeping your body flat on the ground. Working on some body control this morning. And we'll bring the knee across towards the left shoulder. Coming in through the middle. And release down. And we'll do the other side. Let's take that left leg in. Give it a squeeze. Open the knee out towards the left shoulder. And bring the knee across to the right shoulder. And I'll just ask us to relax the neck. Relax your face, your mouth, your eyes. We'll come in through the middle and lower that down. Now taking our feet flat onto the floor, heels are nice and close to the body, arms down by our side. We'll go through some glute bridges. So just roll those shoulders into the mat. Make sure that your head's flat on the ground, nose is pointing straight up to the ceiling. We lift our hips up and then slowly lower down, trying to keep our hands on our feet flat on the floor the whole time. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. We'll do one more and we're going to hold it, okay? So lift up, hold it here. Make sure you're using your abdominal muscles and your glutes to keep the position. Now try to interlace the fingers underneath your back and then roll onto the outside of your elbows and shoulders, really puffing your chest up. Keep your feet flat, your knees pointing forward, nose up to the ceiling, stretching through those shoulders, through the front of the chest. Take one more big inhale, and then exhale, slowly release that down. Let's give our knees another hug. Just rock that out. And now you can either roll over through baby on your side, or you can rock and roll all the way up to sitting. And from here, I want us to turn over onto hands and knees. So I'm just going to remove my socks at this point. We'll come over onto our hands and knees. Make sure your hands are happy. Spread your fingers out, soft elbows, and then relax those feet in the back. Sometimes we're always crunching them under. Try to just keep them long. With our strong belly and our flat back, we'll go through our spinal balance. Reaching your right arm forward and your left leg back, and lower it down. Inhale, left arm, right leg. Exhale, lower. Inhale, right. Exhale, working on our balance. Inhale, left. Exhale. Inhale, right. Exhale, one more. Inhale, left. Exhale. Good. From here, let's do some cats and cows. Open the chest, look forward with your eyes into cow pose. And now round your back, belly in, up to cat. Inhale, open to cow. Exhale, round up to cat. Inhale, open. Exhale, round. One more of each. Inhale, open. Exhale, round. And let's press back into child's pose. Sink your hips down nice and low. Reach your arms out and see if we can let our head come down to the floor. Maybe feeling a stretch through the shoulders, the back, maybe even the hips or the knees or the feet. While we're here, let's work through our side stretches, walking our hands over to the right side of your mat, placing our left hand on top and sit back into your left hip. Now just try to relax your head as we stretch down that left side of our body. Very nice. Let's walk through the middle. Good concentration, everybody. Over to your right side. We can place the left hand on top and then sit back into the other hip. Or just repeating on the other side, whichever way we've gone. Nice big side stretch. Wonderful. From here, we're going to come back through the middle, lift up into tabletop position again. Now, in our tabletop position, let's take our thread the needle. We'll bring our right arm up nice and high. Big breath in. And sweep under with your exhale, laying down in towards or into your right ear and shoulder. And you can take that left arm either forward or up above. And we come through the middle, finding tabletop position, making sure we have a good base. Now inhale, left arm up nice and high. Exhale, thread all the way underneath. We can lay in towards or into that left ear and shoulder, right arm forward or up. Noticing how this feels. Are we tight? Do we feel our muscles stretching? Does it feel good? We can come up through the middle, holding tabletop. Now get ready to walk out for puppy dog. So we walk those hands farther forward, and then we scoop our hips up to the ceiling, and we stretch our chest down to the floor. I like to rest my chin on the ground. Some people prefer to do the forehead. And it's just like when your dog is stretching in the morning, that big stretch back. Lift those hips up nice and high. Lift your tail. Now slowly, we're going to slither back into cobra. Just let ourselves come all the way down, as small as you can get, child's pose. So in child's pose, we're sinking back into those hips, nice and small, and we're going to get ready for a cobra to down dog flow. So we'll glue those hands into the ground, curl your toes underneath of you, lift your hips up nice and high. Finding our first down dog, and we can just walk the dog when we first get here. Excellent, excellent work. So we're walking the dog, pedaling our feet toe to heel, right to left foot. Now let's firm up our toes press the heels down to or towards the floor. Make sure that we're happy with our hand position. And as I mentioned, we're coming into a cobra down dog flow. This is our yoga push-up. So let's inhale forward into plank. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, press back, down dog, or child's pose if that's what you're doing today. We're gonna do that again. Inhale, forward. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, scoop up. Exhale, press back, down dog or child. Make sure you're practicing control. Inhale, forward. So maybe you take your knees to the floor. Chaturanga from the knees. Scoop it up. And press back to down dog. And we'll do one more of those. Inhale, forward. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, press back, down dog or child. We'll hold this for a few breaths. Make sure your necks are long, shoulders are pulled down. All right, slowly let's come on to our hands and knees in tabletop again. We're getting ready for our runner's lunge. Let's step our right foot forward in between our hands. Knee stacked on top of ankle. Come all the way up onto our thigh for balance if we're able to. Strong shoulders, hips in place. Push the hips forward slightly. If you're feeling like you're really gripping your toes, just spread your feet out. You might need to walk your foot a bit farther away. We're coming into another chest stretch. Interlace your fingers if you're able to. Round those shoulders down and then puff the chest up. If not, you can just pretend to hold the ball behind you. Looking up a little bit higher if you're able to, as we stretch open that left hip and through the front of those shoulders. Now keeping the legs where they are, let's switch arm positions all the way up, coming into that tricep stretch. Bend the left elbow. I'll turn to face you so you can see. We're bending the left elbow. You can just pat your hand on your back or interlace your fingers, trying to bind them in the back. Still stretching through the front of the left hip, keeping your belly in nice and tight. And remember, if you're rounding your chin down, you're losing out some of the stretch. So let's keep our chin off the chest, eyes forward. Wonderful. Okay, now from here, let's release our hands. Just hold your hips. Getting ready for some hamstring stretches. We'll rock back into the back leg, pulling the front leg straight with the toe up to the ceiling. Now hinge at your hip, starting to draw your chest forward. Some of us are going to keep our hands on our hips today. Some of us might bring our hands to our thigh or down to the floor. I've mentioned in previous classes that yoga blocks, if anyone has those, that's what these are for, is so that you have a little extra length in your arms so you don't have to reach as low. You could hold your yoga block. We want to keep our back fairly straight as we hold our hamstring stretch. Maybe also feeling this in our calf muscle. One more big inhale. And exhale, release forward. Take your time bringing that leg back, and you can choose down dog or child's pose. Whichever stretch you'd prefer. Let's hold that for a few breaths. And we're going to go through our flow series again, that yoga push-up. So we inhale forward into plank. Exhale, chaturanga. Always working on control. Inhale, cobra, lift up. Exhale, press back, down dog or child's pose. Inhale, forward, plank. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, press back, down dog or child. And we'll do one more. Inhale, forward. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, back, down dog or child. Hold it here. And we're going to get ready for runner's lunge with the other foot. We start by coming into our tabletop position, all fours. Now this time we'll step our left foot forward. Knee above ankle. Make sure you're happy on that back knee. You can come all the way up. Hinge forward a little bit. So press your hips forward, keeping shoulders stacked on top of hips. Start by interlacing our fingers in back or reaching for that imaginary ball. Roll the shoulders down. Puff the chest up. Big stretch. Perfect. Keep our abdominal muscles in, and if you're really clenching your toes, you might need to walk your legs farther. Spread your toes out. Now slowly release the arms, bringing them up nice and high. We'll stretch the other tricep, so bring your hands in back of you if you'd like to bind them, or you can simply guide that hand. Very nice, everyone. Good concentration. Now getting ready for your hamstring stretch. Hands to hips. Let's slowly start to switch our weight into the back leg, straightening out that front leg. Now, my hips accidentally just lifted, so let's try to level off our hips. And now hinge forward. Chest towards that front shin. As soon as you feel a stretch, you might need to stop. Left leg might be behaving differently today. Maybe left is different from right. Let's breathe slowly into it. Notice where you're feeling it. Is it in the calf muscle, the hamstring? Good job, everybody. Okay, let's slowly rock forward. Sweep that leg back, down dog or child's pose. Again, I'm letting you choose which one you want to do. Whatever one feels better. If you want to just relax, maybe child's pose. If you want to get a little bit more of a stretch, probably down dog. Now, we're going to walk our feet and our hands together and hang in forward fold. The feet are still about hips width distance apart. We try to drop our head. You can take your hands to the floor, to the legs, to either elbow and ragdoll. Just hang. Try not to be too bouncy or swingy. Instead, just be still. Legs are straight, but always a little bit of a knee bend. Again, I want you just to check in. Where are you feeling the stretch? How much are you feeling? Now, slowly we're going to come down into ball. So I want you to just start to shift your weight back into your tail. Sit down through your hips, into your heels. I like to reach my arms forward for balance. Now, I have a pretty stretchy Achilles tendon or back of my ankle, so I can keep my feet flat on the floor and come all the way down. If you're not able to and you're just rising up onto your tippy toes, that's not what this stretch is. This stretch is keeping your feet flat on the floor. So your bum might just be a little bit higher. So we're holding ball. If you don't need to bring your arms out, maybe you can hold them in heart center. Some people find this a nice stretch. Some people find this really difficult. From here, we're going to come back into forward fold. So I want you to bring your arms forward for balance. Start to shift your hips up and straighten out your legs and see if we can get just a little bit lower. From here, let's come halfway up to monkey. So slowly start to roll up your spine halfway until your back is parallel with the floor, and then really flatten it out. I'm gonna turn to the side so you can see. So instead of leaving it round, I want you to pull your belly in nice and tight, take your tail and flatten it out, creating that tabletop surface with your back. If I had my teacup at your house right now, I would balance my teacup on your back. Good. Now from here, let's shift our weight back into our heels. Find your chair pose, correct our weight into our hips and heels. Pull your back nice and straight still. We reach our arms high, wiggle those toes. Now big inhale, lift all the way up. And exhale, release. Good. Take a couple of shoulder rolls. We're going to come into a couple of standing poses. So if you'd like to grab a quick drink, please feel free to do that now. The first pose that we're going to do is pyramid. So I want you to find warrior one. It's just a short dip, warrior one. Right foot forward, left foot back, about as wide as your hips with your feet. So you're kind of straddling. If you imagine a train track, you've got your foot just on either side of one of the rails, so not very far apart. Now you can turn that back foot out as much as 45 degrees or as much as straight forward, depending on, again, that back Achilles, that back of your ankle. Keep your feet both flat on the floor, hips level, try not to be twisty. We'll shift forward, bending into that right knee. So I have to just inchworm my front foot forward a little bit. There we go. Now arms all the way up. If you're able to, otherwise heart center is fine. We're working on our balance in warrior one. Good, stretching a little bit through that back calf, getting ready for our pyramid pose. So if you've got a case of the wobbles today, that's okay. Maybe you just need to step your feet wider, maybe a little bit closer together. Okay, so let's bring our hands down to our hips, straighten out our legs. If they're too far apart, again, just bring them a little bit closer for this part. Keeping your belly button so straight to that front leg. Let's start to hinge forward into that forward fold. As soon as you feel a stretch, you're going to hold it. I really want you to think about what this pose is called. This pose is called pyramid. Pyramids are straight. They're strong, they're sturdy. They're trying to establish that triangular sort of look. We want to have that tailbone as the high point, and then both feet on the ground are that supporting edge of the triangle. You might notice that as we hold this, your hands wander a little bit lower. Remember, there's never a destination that you have to meet. There's never a picture of this pose that has to be conquered or established. Just do what feels good here. Try and keep your legs straight. Now we'll slowly start to soften that leg. Walk up, keeping your feet in warrior one. Good. Now step your feet together. Shake them out. And we'll do the exact same thing with the other foot. Good. So that's when you get out the sillies, right? You get out all your fidgets in between. Now we've got our left foot forward. We'll step our right foot back behind us. Same thing we're going to go through is that back foot, you might need to turn it out a little bit, trying to have it as straight on as you can with both feet flat on the floor. We get an extra calf stretch that way. Hips, my shirt's a little twisted. I'm trying to show you nice straight lines. There we go. And then bend forward slightly. Bringing those arms up as we hold. I have to wiggle my foot forward just a little bit. Shoulders down. So that's a good point. Is in yoga, sometimes we feel like the pose we selected, we have to hold it and we're not allowed to move. That's okay. You can move, you can fidget a little bit. We just don't want you wobbling and walking and jumping. I want everyone to hold your pose with little adjustments throughout. Now from warrior one, we're coming down into pyramid. So go ahead and take your hands to your hips, straighten out your legs. Mine feels a little bit too big, so I'm actually gonna step my foot in a little bit closer. Now let's start to hinge. Good, as soon as you feel that stretch, you stop. We wanna keep our back flat. It makes the stretch up the back of the leg so much more effective. And we'll just slowly grow our stretch here as we continue to hold it. Remembering there's no competition, there's no judgment. This is all about personal experience. How does this pose feel right now for you? Good, let's all take just a couple more breaths. This is looking very nice, everyone. Now from your pyramid, strong feet on the ground, feeling grounded and sturdy. Let's slowly walk up. Take your time. Come together. And then shake, shake, shake. We're going to do our next and last standing pose today. And this is going to be eagle. Focusing on our arms, I will give you some options for the legs. Let me show you what the pose looks like first. Eagle is, okay, so you're crossing, And then you're gonna try to wrap that foot. And don't worry, I'm gonna do this with you. I'm just showing you what it is first so that you can see it. So this is what we're going to do. Turn to the side. Whew. So together, how we're going to do that. Starting in Tadasana. 2 feet on the floor. Feeling very strong. Belly is tight. We're lifting out of our legs, shoulders are down. We start by taking our right foot and bring it up. Let's try to cross the knee over. Now sit down into a single leg squat. Now, if you're really struggling with the case of the wobbles today, these toes of your right foot, just put them on the ground. They're like a kickstand on your bicycle or like training wheels. So just keep them on the ground. Otherwise, you'll keep them lifted, keep squeezing, and if you're able to, you can even wrap that foot around your calf. Now just watch that these hips are trying to stay forward. Otherwise, you'll get all wobbly. All right, with our legs there, let's bring our arms out to the side. Because we've got our right leg in front, let's bring our right arm across. We'll bring our left arm on top. Give yourself a huge hug. Say, thank you for doing yoga today. This feels so good. Now bring knuckle to knuckle if you're able to, and then try to get your palms together. So it's like you're shaking your own hand. And lift your arms up. So as we lift our hands up higher to the ceiling, we're really stretching through our shoulders. Keep sitting low in your hips. Keep squeezing those legs. Almost there. Oh, this looks so good. And relax. Ooh, fidget, fidget, fidget. I always get a little bit out of breath when I do eagle because you're just constricting. You're getting so tight. Oh, it feels so good to loosen. So we have to do the other side. Let's start with Tadasana. Amazing 2-foot balance. Tight, tall. Shift the weight. So now we're lifting that left foot up. Cross the knee over knee. Maybe as we sit down, ooh, wobbles, you need to put your foot on the ground. And that's okay. Maybe you try lifting it up every now and then, or it stays there today. We'll try to wrap the leg. See if we can get that toe around. Hips stay facing forward. Arms come up. Left leg is across. So let's bring the left arm across first. We'll bring that right arm underneath. Give yourself a huge hug. And then bring knuckle to knuckle. And then try going palm to palm. It might feel different on this side. And then lift up. Ooh. Sit down in the hips. Keep the stomach engaged. Good, keep holding it. Get ready to release. Take that big inhale, come out. And exhale, shake, 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 fidget, fidget, fidget. Oh, so good. Let's come to the very top of our mat. We're going to get ourselves back down onto the floor. We'll be coming onto our stomach. Standing in Tadasana. Let's take a big inhale, lift tall. Exhale, hinge at the hips, swan dive into forward fold. Oh, and we'll hold this for a moment. Now, crouching low, hands on the ground, step or jump back to plank. And then taking that chaturanga, that slow controlled lower, all the way to your stomach. And from our stomach, let's lift up into cobra. Getting ready for our knot pose. We'll bring our body down and our arms forward. Coming into knot is just thread the needle, but we'll try to do a double thread the needle basically. We start by bringing our right arm all the way underneath our body, laying in that right ear and shoulder. And we just take a couple breaths here, noticing if we have to adjust anything. And then if we're able to, and we want to progress from our half knot, we can come into full knot, bringing that left arm across as well. Trying to draw a straight line. We'll turn to the front so you can see. So we've got that right arm under, and then the left arm comes across, and you try to draw a straight line with your arms. And then just drop that chin if you can. And slowly release, coming into that Superman-like pose. Just relax with your arms forward. And we'll do the other side. So now we're going to start by bringing that left arm all the way under, laying into that left ear. Try to relax your body. Palm is facing up towards the ceiling, relaxing your knuckles, your fingernails on the floor. And we'll bring that right arm across as well, trying to stretch those arms out long, tying your knot underneath your chest, and then drop the head as much as you're able to. Some of us, it's not very much because your arms get in the way. Others, like myself, I can rest my head down on the floor. Now slowly coming out of that, again, we'll just relax those arms forward in our Superman for a moment. A couple breaths. We'll get ready for our next stretch, which will be our scorpion. We love this chest stretch. So we bring our arms out to the side. Adjust on your mat if you wiggled at all. So we'll take our right hand underneath the right shoulder first, bending your right knee or both knees, and then roll over that left arm, trying to get your knees up to the ceiling, your feet flat on the floor. You can keep your hand, your right hand where it is, or for anyone who needs just a little bit more, feel free to reach that hand up to the ceiling, or you can even hold your hands. If you feel like you just need a little extra, you could hold your hands if you wanted. Now let's slowly come onto the stomach. Take our time. And again, if you wiggled or fidgeted, just get yourself back into that T position on the floor with your arms out to the side. And now we'll take the left hand under the left shoulder, bend the left knee or both knees, roll over that right arm, trying to get the feet on the floor, the knees to the ceiling. And again, if you don't feel like you need that left hand on the floor, if you want to, you could try bringing the left hand up to the ceiling, or even try to hold your right hand. Lots of different ways of doing this stretch, all depending on how it's feeling today. Never feeling like you have to do one option more than the other. Now slowly, let's come onto the stomach again. Take our arms out to T, finding that position, and then we'll bring our hands underneath shoulders or ribs and lift ourselves up into Cobra. Hello. And now pressing back into child's pose. Sinking back to those hips, reach those arms forward. And from here, we're going to be coming all the way down onto our backs. If anyone would really like to put back on a sweater or socks, now would be a good time to do that. Otherwise, if you're comfortable, just go ahead and slowly roll yourself all the way back. And we'll start with our feet on the ground, our knees bent, getting ready for our hamstring stretch and a figure 4. We'll bring that right leg all the way up to the ceiling. You can hold the calf to the thigh, and let's start rolling through that foot. Relax those shoulders, relax your face. Okay, let's draw the leg just a little bit closer to the body. Again, never forced, just straightening out the leg and maybe getting a little bit more stretch, whatever that looks like today. And we'll take this into a figure 4, crossing the right ankle over the left thigh. We could just relax. We could push the knee away with our hand, or we could thread the hands under that left leg, picking the feet up off the floor. I like to use my right elbow to press into my right knee. Stretching through that right hip. Feel yourself starting to breathe a little bit slower, a little bit deeper, just like at the beginning of our practice. And we'll lower those feet down to the ground. And we'll do the other side. Left foot will come up to the ceiling for hamstring stretch. Holding onto the calf or the thigh. Relax your shoulders and go ahead and start circling through with the foot, working through the ankle, noticing any stretches through the calf, the thigh. Now let's just hold it, straightening out the leg a bit more, drawing the foot towards the face a little bit more. And crossing into figure 4, bring that ankle across the knee. You can do it just relaxing, pressing the knee away, or threading the hands under around that right thigh, pressing the left knee away. Try to keep your back flat on the floor. Avoid tipping or tilting to one side, just staying nice and level. And then we can bring both feet back down to the ground. Bring our arms out to the side, making that T one last time. And we'll actually lift the knees up 90 degrees for a spinal twist, lowering the legs over towards the right side. Keeping the shoulders on the ground, let's relax the upper body as we look over our left arm. If you need to, you can hold your top leg. You need a little extra. And then we'll come through the middle, lifting those legs up, arms are out to the side, lowering the legs to the left. And we can look over that right arm, just trying to keep the shoulders flat on the floor. Slowly lifting that back up again. And we'll take our time finding Shavasana, that final relaxation pose. For most of us, that will be legs extended again, maybe feet are out a bit wider, toes are falling out, arms by our sides. Let's rock the head so that our nose is pointing straight up to the ceiling. Let go of your abdominal muscles. Just take a few big, deep breaths. Noticing if we're really clenching our jaw or scrunching up through the eyes. Try to relax your face. If you're really fidgety, challenging yourself. See if we can just lay here and be still for a couple moments at a time. Knowing how good that is for our brain. Clearing up all those cobwebs. Taking some time to refocus. Taking those nice, deep, big breaths. Noticing our body melting deeper into the mat beneath us. And as we continue to slow our breathing, feeling more relaxed, really giving yourself permission to enjoy the final relaxation. Not feeling like you have to rush to finish your practice. You don't have to rush to get to the next thing. Allow yourself to enjoy this part. Maybe even feeling sleepy. And starting to wiggle those toes, boogie your fingers, just noticing again, how are we feeling right now? Let's start to circle the wrists and ankles. Let's take another big morning time stretch. Reach those arms up overhead, reach those legs out long. Maybe we stretch right to left, take those big stretches. Oh my goodness. And we can draw those legs into the chest. Give yourself that last big hug. Maybe we rock, maybe we stay still. And we can rock over onto our side through baby or up through rock and roll and press all the way up into that easy seated pose so that we can say our final goodbye. So easy seated being crisscross or half lotus or both legs crossed for full lotus, whichever is more comfortable today. And saying our final goodbye. We take a big inhale, lifting hands up above head to prayer. Exhaling down through heart center. Namaste. Thank you, everybody.